The Many Monsters of Christmas, an informative holiday zine by Mike Rosen. Batalisk, a giant horned serpent covered in goat hair. The gossipy Batalisk is a fixture of Christmas celebrations in the Val Camonica region of the Italian Alps. Every year, the community's bravest warriors venture into the woods to capture the creature and bring it back to the village. When the villagers are gathered, the Batalisk makes a long-winded speech, revealing all the community's dirty laundry and mocking their foibles, until it is challenged and defeated in ritual combat by a hunchback. In the evening, the community gathers together to enjoy a meal of salami and polenta before releasing the Batalisk back into the woods the following day. Befana, the Christmas witch, visits the homes of good Italian children every Christmas, bearing gifts of candy and fruit. Bad children instead get onions or garlic. Always carrying her distinctive besom broom, Befana was just an ordinary homemaker, until the night 2,000 years ago that she gave shelter to the three magi on their way to pay tribute to the infant Jesus at Bethlehem. They invited her to accompany them, but she declined as she had too much housework to do. Later, she changed her mind and tried to catch up with their procession. To this day, she is still trying to catch up, although it hasn't stopped her from awarding good little kids every year. Belsnickel is a wandering, disheveled, grouchy, grubby peddler who visits the homes of Pennsylvania Dutch children in lieu of Santa Claus. Like Santa, he bears treats, but he expects children to earn their rewards, either by answering a question, reciting a prayer, or singing a song. If the children of the home perform to his satisfaction, he may dump some candy upon the floor before departing. But if a child dives too eagerly for the proffered sweets, they may still fall afoul of Belsnickel's wrath and receive a sound whipping by the bundle of birch branches he always carries with him. Christkind, isn't he precious? On Christmas Eve, Lutheran children in Germany, Austria, and Central Europe eagerly await the arrival of the Christkind, the benevolent cherub with rosy cheeks and curly golden locks, who brought presents of nuts and chocolates to those who offered prayers to Jesus Christ. Originally promoted by Martin Luther during the German Reformation, the Christkind was part of an effort to remind children about the true meaning of Christmas. During the 19th century, the Christkind's increasing popularity led him to start visiting Catholic households as well. Christkind. The same night that the Christkind rewarded Christian children, the Christkind's corrupted twin terrorized their Jewish neighbors. Jewish children knew this night as Nittelnacht, the night that the veil between worlds was thinnest and sinister forces were about. In the cold and dark of the yard, something lurked at the bottom of the privy, waiting to snatch the unwary child drawn to answer nature's call. This Christkind mostly frightened children, but he also reserved a special hatred for scholars who ignored the prohibition against Torah study. He would gleefully defecate upon any book that he found open this night. The Grither. In Seasons of Belief by Michael Bishop, the Grither, with his translucent, gelatinous flesh and enormous, all-hearing ears, lives in the hull of an ancient packet ship in the ice floes of the Arctic Circle. The Grither will seek out and kill any child who says his name, for there's only one Grither in the entire world, and he believes himself to be so special that his name should never be mentioned. Grýla. This horrible trollop of Iceland stalks and eats children all year long, but she's most active in the days leading up to Christmas, when naughty children are most delectable. With at least 3 husbands and innumerable dalliances, including at least one with Satan himself, over her infinite lifespan, it's no wonder that Grýla had time to sire 13 children. But, surprisingly, they didn't take after their mother. Grýla's children are the 13 Yule Lads, jolly sprites who leave toys and treats in Icelandic children's stockings come the holiday. Hans Trapp, a giant of a man standing at over 2 meters tall. Hans Trapp was a cruel knight and greedy robber baron who terrorized the good people of Alsace. Once he even attempted to ravish an innocent maid that he encountered in the Wasgau woods, cornering her atop a cliff. In desperation, the maiden leapt off the cliff, but by a miracle, her skirts and petticoats acted as a parachute, allowing her to drift slowly and safely away from her attacker. Possibly to do penance for his evil acts, Hans Trapp today brings presents to the children of Alsace every Christmas Eve, although for the rest of the year he continues to haunt the dark forests of Wasgau. Yule Cat, the Yule Cat. Pity the children of Iceland, whom every Christmas must fear the coming of the terrible Yule Cat, a monstrous cat as big as a mountain. The only thing preventing the Yule Cat from gobbling up every child in the country is an unusual dietary restriction. He can only eat those whom have not received any new clothes for Christmas, giving Icelandic parents the perfect justification for gifting boring socks and underwear. Kallikantzaroi. The Kallikantzaroi are a race of smelly, goat-footed subterranean goblins that infest underground caves throughout Greece and Asia Minor. They only come to the surface during the 12 days of Christmas, during which they delight in causing mischief. Babies born during this window are at risk for turning into Kallikantzaroi themselves as they age. Parents could prevent this transformation by wrapping the baby in tresses of garlic or straw, or by singeing the child's toenails. Knecht Ruprecht is a fur-clad farmhand who accompanies Santa Claus on his annual rounds in northern Germany, particularly in the area around Nuremberg. A man of great piety, he will ask any child he encounters whether they have been saying their prayers. Those that are attentive to their prayers receive gifts of apples, nuts, and gingerbread. Children who fail Knecht Ruprecht's test may be beaten with a bag of ashes, or worse, stuffed into a sack and thrown into the icy waters of the river Pegnitz to drown. The Krampus is a demonic being that accompanies Santa Claus as he arrives on the Austrian leg of his annual gift-giving journey. A shaggy beast with a forked tail and cloven hooves, the Krampus whips somewhat naughty children with birch switches, and gobbles the especially naughty ones. The Krampus can be bribed with gifts of schnapps. Lwyd is a ghostly spectre, appearing as a skeletal horse, draped in white cloth, that appears on Christmas Eve in South Wales. Accompanied by a cadre of ghostly wassailers, the Lwyd travels from house to house demanding entry through song. Homeowners would be expected to refuse, also through song, but the Lwyd is nothing if not persistent. After lengthy exchanges of verses, the homeowner will eventually relent and invite the Lwyd and its associates inside the house to enjoy good food and drink. Once inside, the Lwyd will prance and whinny, jumping on tables and knocking over chairs to entertain watchers and frighten children. The Mouse King is lord of all mice, as detailed in E.T.A. Hoffmann's Nutcracker and Mouse King. Years ago, his mother, Madame Mouserings, cast a horrible curse upon a princess, whose father had set traps around his palace to catch mice. The curse made the princess horrifically ugly. But when a young man broke the curse by cracking a magical nut between his teeth, the ugliness transferred to him, turning him into a nutcracker. Years later, on Christmas Eve, the Nutcracker still battles Madame Mousering's son, and the Mouse King has no intentions of letting him escape from the curse of ugliness. Unlike most mice, the Mouse King has 7 heads. Knackles. In the short story by Donald E. Westlake, the eponymous Knackles is the evil twin to Santa Claus. Knackles is a thin, gray, sour man, dressed all in black fur. He travels the length and breadth of the world through darkened subterranean tunnels, on an iron sledge, on rails pulled by blind, dead white goats. Santa Claus protects good kids from Knackles, but when kids are naughty, Santa's powers are weakened. Then Knackles can break through with his great big sack of empty nothingness and steal children away. Nisse. Also known as a tomte, a Nisse is a small, mischievous sprite of Scandinavia, found on farms and country homesteads. Like brownies and kobolds, Nisses are generally helpful if treated well, and will happily take on any necessary household chores. The only payment a Nisse requires is an annual bowl of Yule grot porridge, with a side of butter on Christmas Eve. Woe to the farmer who failed to treat his Nisse well, for an angry Nisse could wreak havoc upon the farm. Although he looks harmless, a Nisse is equipped with superhuman strength and poisonous fangs. Perchta is a shape-shifting Christmas visitor, often appearing as either a beautiful young maiden or a haggard old crone. In either form, though, she still retains her long, brushy tail, her bird-like feet, and her curling horns. In Austrian Bavaria, Perchta enforced prohibitions against holiday spinning, keeping a sharp eye out for any child or servant who dared to work on Christmas Day. If she catches you at the spinning wheel, she will disembowel you and stuff your body cavity with straw and rocks. Straggelli. In Switzerland, Perchta often travels with a host of lumbering, shaggy monsters known as Straggelli, sometimes even riding upon one like a steed. The Straggelli are less discerning about who they attack, disregarding whether a child was naughty or nice, before messily devouring them. The best way to avoid being eaten by the Straggelli is to leave a bowl of leftover food on your doorstep, in hopes that would distract them from seeking a living meal inside. Tió de Nadal. Every household in Catalan celebrates the holiday season with a decorated log called Tió de Nadal, erected in their living room. It may look like an ordinary piece of wooden furniture, but the Tió de Nadal has a secret. Beginning on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, kids feed the log every day and cover it with a blanket every night. Finally, on Christmas, the head of household orders all children to leave the room before he viciously beats the Tió de Nadal so that it will defecate presents for the whole family. The Whip Father. The butcher who was to become the Whip Father thought that he had committed the perfect crime. Surely no one could have seen him slaughter those 3 young boys and prepare their bodies as cold cuts for sale. But Santa Claus sees all, and the jolly old elf not only intervened to magically restore the dead children to life, but also sentenced the butcher to forevermore accompany him on his Christmas rounds, dispensing whippings to naughty children. The Yule Lads. The Yule Lads once terrorized Icelandic children in the days leading up to Christmas, with mischievous pranks and loud noises. But the years have mellowed their attitude. Today they come down from the mountains one by one, each leaving a gift for every good child. The 13 Yule Lads are Sheep Warrior, Gully Gawk, Stubby, Spoon Licker, Pot Scraper, Bowl Licker, Door Slammer, Skier Gobbler, Sausage Snatcher, Window Peeper, Doorway Sniffer, Meat Hook, and Candle Stealer. Zwarte Piet, a sinister companion to Santa Claus. Zwarte Piet visits Dutch homes on Christmas Eve in search of naughty children, whom he pops into a burlap sack and spirits away to his homeland in Spain.